Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And another card using another STAMPtember limited edition exclusive. These are sets that are a collaboration between Simon Says Stamp and many crafty brands. And throughout the month of September, there are limited edition exclusive sets that are released that are one and done. When they sell out, they are not restocked. They're no longer available. However, just like with today's brand, which is Pink and Main, super cute, there are many products of that brand, which is the whole point, to kind of bring focus onto these other brands and all their fabulous products. Pink and Main being no exception. They have tons of super cute products. So many. I'll have a link to the Pink and Main product line below, as well as the limited edition set that I used, along with everything else I used. I will have listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links, end up placing an order, I get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. It's what helps pay the bills and keeps the channel going. That's enough chatter from me. Let's get into making the card. So this is the Pink and Main Flurries of Love set, and it's just cute. It's got little snowmen and little penguins and some cute little sentiments, and then this little mug, and yeah, I'm a fan. So I put some of Simon Says Stamp's smooth white cardstock into my MISTI, and I am inking up the images I chose with Simon's Intense Black ink, which is an alcohol marker friendly ink, and stamped them onto the white cardstock. And I also stamped the mug onto some pattern paper because I thought, why not do some more paper piecing? Again, those a lot of you remember that have watched me for a long time, which, as always, thank you, and hello to anyone new. Welcome to the chaos. I used to do a ton of paper piecing back in the day. I don't do it as often anymore, but yeah, I still bring it out every once in a while. The pattern paper I did use, FYI, is no longer available. It is from a ancient Doodlebug pack. Again, those might remember. I still do. I have a soft spot for Doodlebug. I have an entire cupboard filled with Doodlebug products. Love. Anyway, it's from the Winter Wonderland pack that came out like 5 years ago, I think. And many years. It's been discontinued. I'll link to a couple of similar packs. Yeah, that's all I can do. So I used Copic Markers to do all my coloring. I sped this up in editing. This didn't take too long because those of you might remember, I've talked about this before. Snowmen are some of my favorite images to color. So are penguins. Polar bears. You know, images that are either, mostly white or just white and black. But also snowmen are cute. So this was all pretty simple. I also kept it extra simple with the exception of just the penguin and that little top hat. I used, like a 3 color blend. Everything else I did just 2, if that. Like, their little noses, I did just 1 color orange because they're small. You don't need, you totally can. It's amazing how much depth you can build if you're doing like 3, 4, 5 marker blends, that kind of stuff. My hat goes off to anyone that does that because my jaw is always on the floor when I see it. That said, though, if that's not your forte, don't be intimidated by it. You can do 1 marker, 2 marker blends like this, and it looks great. It's cute. Nothing wrong with it, And then down the road, if you feel, you want to expand and that kind of a thing and really deepen your coloring and all that stuff, that's when you can start bringing in like more shades, color pencils, even like so many things. But yeah, a couple markers works. The other thing to remember is always with paper piecing, you need to add some shading. I kind of went a little heavy-handed on this one, but I'm fine with it. I used some warm grays because the thing with the pattern paper is if you don't add any shading whatsoever, it's just going to be sitting on top of whatever it is you've adhered it on top of, and it looks out of place. So adding the shading just blends it into everything else, and then trimming it out. This mug is like perfect, especially if there's a beginner that wants to paper piece. This is perfection because it's very simple cuts, straight lines and then a couple wavy lines. Simple. I'm using my my personal go-to, these Cutter Bee scissors. You can use whatever detail cutting scissors you're, comfortable with. And the thing to remember with paper piecing is you cut basically on the line. Not on the edge of it, like on the line. Or if you can, just right on the very, very edge, if that makes sense. Because you want to, keep the other stamp lines clear. And then I remembered after I did the shading on the pattern paper, I was like, oh, I need to add a little bit to the mug too. And I should have added shading to everything else to kind of bring it out. But again, you guys, hindsight. And I'm not going back and refilming. The other key thing, and I've talked about this in every time I paper piece, I take a black marker, not a Copic or an alcohol marker. Like you can, I've seen other people do it and they get away with it. I don't recommend using an alcohol marker for this to edge the pattern paper, because the paper, if you don't move fast enough with an alcohol marker, it'll start soaking up the black alcohol marker, and you'll see it. You'll literally see it feathering into the paper, and it'll just look gross and blurry. I just use a basic black water-based marker, and I run it all along the edges of each piece of pattern paper. And that just covers the exposed like white core of the pattern paper, and it makes everything look a lot more seamless. Makes my cuts look like I just did an amazing job, even when more often than not I didn't. And then it all fits together. And then all you got to do is adhere it, and there I've got this cute little pattern mug that I think is adorable. I have a little polka dot mug here in my office, and I actually use it to hold markers. This kind of reminds me of it. So anyway, I did some die cutting with some oldie but goodie favorites. I used Simon's Nested Round Hearts wafer die, and I die cut some white cardstock from that. And then I pulled out a very oldie but goodie favorite, which is the Drifting Stitches Borders wafer die, and I die cut a scrap from that. Yeah, this one's from like 7 years ago. Old. Still available. Anyway, I die cut a scrap of cardstock with that, and then I die cut it again with the same Nested Round Heart wafer die, and that's going to be like the ground on this piece. So on the main heart, I blended some Concord 9th AQUA SKY ink, and then I used the little snowflakes from the Flurries of Love stamp set, and I wasn't thinking. I stamped them with the same color ink. Even though I've said this to you guys a million times, these inks soften and dry back. So stamping the same color ink onto the background that I blended with the same color, you're going to see in a second what it's going to look like. It's almost non-existent. Not the end of the world. It's just, see, you can barely see them. But I was like, I can go with this. I'll make it work. It's fine. It ends up kind of looking like little shadows, which is fine. Because even right here, it's not fully dry. It dries back even more than that. So if I'd wanted them to show up without using like white ink or heat embossing, I should have just grabbed a darker shade of ink. It would have been fine. But like I said, I'm going to work with this. So I stamped a sentiment right onto that background with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And then I adhered the little piece that I die cut with the Drifting Stitches borders and erased a random little smear that I got on it. That's par for the course. And then I adhered my little snowman and the little penguin, so they're peeking out of the mug. And then I'm going to adhere this to my little background. And then for the individual snowman, I'm going to just use a scrap of cardstock just to in place basically of a foam square. Because I don't need to build a ton of dimension, but I've got a lot of unevenness with the layers of cardstock behind it. So this is just going to kind of even things out. So I adhered those little pieces and then adhered him into place. So we've got the two in the mug and then this guy with his little gingerbread man. And then I took those snowflake stamps and some white pigment ink and stamped those onto this little background. This will also dry back a bit because I'm stamping on top of something that has been blended with a water-based ink. So when you stamp white pigment ink on top of something like this, it will kind of absorb that ink. So again, it will be subtle, but again, I was fine with it. If you want them to be like stark white, you'd white heat emboss them, but I was fine with this. So after I did all that, this is where I went in with my white gel pen and added little dots and highlights and things wherever I thought they would look cute. I also added a bunch of little dots and little starbursts here and there with the white gel pen on the background just to enhance all of the things, and then remembered to add a couple of highlights to the paper pieced mug while I was at it. So got all those scribbled on, and then remembered my little individual snowman because he's going on the inside. And I cut another scrap with one of the other drifting stitches borders wafer die, and then scribbled a bit of the Copic marker onto that because this little snowman, I was going to have him just, on there, but I was like, he's on skates. He's not going to be skating through a snowdrift. Although technically, I'm not even joking. We do that around here. It's the frozen north, man. When it's wintertime, we have little like ponds and different things that freeze over, and yeah, scrape them off and skate away. But yeah, you don't technically skate through snowdrifts. So I added that little bit of the BG10 to make it look more like he's skating on ice. I'm nothing if not literal. So I did that, stamped another sentiment from the set, which also, reinforce it because it says skating by to say hello. It's so cute. And then adhered my little snowman to the inside. And then I've got more pattern paper from this pack, which, like I said, is no longer available, but Doodlebug releases, they release a Christmas collection and then usually a winter collection every year, like clockwork. And like I said, I own many of them. I enjoy it. I curate it. I collect it. I'm not ashamed. I love my collection. I pull it out, I pet it, and I put it back. And that's enough for me. Anyway, after I adhered the pattern paper to the card front, I of course added some Doodle twine from my stash as well. Wrap that around the card front. Use my reverse tweezers to hold the knot in place so I can get my bow the way I want it. Fiddle with that for a little bit, trim off the excess, and then I'm going to use some thin foam squares to adhere the heart over this, since the twine, creates a little bit of bulk. So the foam squares will kind of pop everything up and even everything out. And then as a final bit of embellishment, I used another oldie but very oldie but goodie. This is the Snow Flurries die set. I bought this die set. I don't even know how long this one has been on the market, but it's close to 10 years, I think, because I purchased this one eons ago. I've used it in a ton of videos. So I die cut it from scraps of Simon's cotton candy cardstock, and I just adhered them into place. Just picked them up with my little tweezers, added little dabs of glue, and then pressed them into place. These are my embellishments. Although die cutting them from glitter paper would have been really fun too, but I wanted to bring in the pink, and I had the scrap sitting right in front of me, so it worked. So adhered those into place, and that finished off this card. So we got these cute little characters in their cute little mug, and the pattern paper and the little snowflakes, and yeah, that little one on the inside. He's just the cutest little thing ever. So like I said in the intro, I'll have links to all the things in the description box below the video. You can just expand the description box and check that out if you're interested. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. And thumbs up, comment, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. It helps a ton when you thumbs up and comment. It just tells the robot overlords you like what you see. And I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in supporting me over on Patreon, the link to that is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye.